Hi guys, what is going on, and welcome back to another episode of Total War Arena. So, a bit of a strange one today. We are Roman infantry with Scipio as a commander. Certainly not a combination you see very often, apart from like really low tiers occasionally, where people are trying to level up to the cavalry. But yeah, not something that I would really pick, and kind of a strange combination. But as we'll see, it does actually work out pretty well. So, let's get this replay started. Obviously, Scipio had a slight buff in the last patch to his morale, so that he basically just got an insane amount of morale boost. Now, he gets something like plus 120 morale with Oath of Perseverance. We'll see later on once it gets it activated. Just makes it basically unreactable. It's like a permanent unreactable ability. So that's pretty cool. And of course, he also gets a nice charge and his war cry, so it makes him easier to rout other people. So yeah, replays today submitted by, I'm going to go with Ferusi? Something like that, probably. Oh, elephants, I would certainly be avoiding them. You don't want to be fighting elephants, particularly without not having a vengeance with these guys. That would certainly be not a lot of use. And I don't think Oath of Perseverance would really do you a lot of good, because it's not really how it works with elephants. I don't really fully understand how the elephant attack damage works, but it's almost like an area attack, and melee attack, melee defense doesn't really come into it, I don't think. So the enemy elephants look like they've hesitated with the light artillery, and the slingers there decided to pull back. Light artillery continues to slam a few shots into them as they pull back. Definitely the right thing to be doing. Looks like he's got pretty good matchmaking for Uzi. Looks like he's tier 7 in the tier 6 game, which is always nice, makes things a little bit easier. Quite a few tier 6s as well, so he's quite well matched. Splits his forces up a bit, sends a unit up perhaps to go and support this light artillery on this part of the map as the enemy war dogs come down. Be careful of them. From Hot Onion, good name. Oh, and some Harry Painted Warriors burst out of the trees. So these guys are quite good. You saw they got re-put back onto sale again recently in the shop, and I did a video review on these guys a couple of months ago, and I did quite enjoy them. They're quite a nice unit to play. Go straight in to try and get looks like a flank on these armoured legionaries. Have they done enough to get them to rout? Oh, looks like they're going to rout. -10. Oh, they recovered. I wonder how they haven't got a flanking modifier on that. You really would expect that they would. It's a bit of a game bug there, I think. So then, looks like Ferusi is getting involved into the rear of these Harry Painted Warriors. Now, these Harry Painted Warriors are good, but in this sort of situation, they are just not going to compete with the Romans. Ooh, some javelin throws. You know, they're not that strong for that sort of situation. But considering Ferusi is now getting rear flanked by the War Dogs, he goes in with his first Oath of Perseverance, giving him plus 124 morale. His morale is now 118 with a rear flanking modifier. Just goes to show how ridiculously strong Oath of Perseverance is in terms of morale. And of course, it means his unit is a lot more resistance, because it gives him, I think it's plus 55% melee defense. So that's putting his wrong button. No, it's not. Right button. Melee defense at 101 can charge with his shield melee defense. You know, we're like 120, 130. And that exceeds most people's melee attack, which makes it really hard for enemy units to land hits on him. Same with his other unit. You know, both of them are now in Oath of Perseverance. Look at the levels of morale. He's got feared, rear flank and a left flank, and he was still like 50 or 60 morale. It goes to show just how strong these guys are. They're never going to rout. And of course, it almost works a bit like Sulla, in the sense that Sulla's Fortified does a similar thing. It gives a massive increase to shield melee defense, so it means that, you know, it's hard for enemies to land hits. Obviously, the benefit of Sulla is that you can deactivate your Fortify, whereas these, you are stuck when you do Oath of Perseverance. You basically lose all movement speed. Wow, what a fantastic charge! He has massive amounts of knockdown. Oh, looks like the Harry Painted Warriors decided to pull out. The main thing, I guess, is the amount of people he is holding up in this engagement. It looks like he's going to get a rout as well. Must be racking up some points here. Wow, he's getting a lot of kills. Because these guys are just having a really hard time applying damage to him. Because, as I say, with that really high melee defense, you know, it means they just can't land hits on him. And that's making him really resistant as an infantry unit. And in this sort of situation, it's perfect. If he was against, you know, another tier 7 Germanicus, who would have got Vengeance on, then, you know, he would end up losing this fight, because the melee attack bonus Vengeance gets would exceed his melee defense, and he would just get slaughtered. But he's not in this sort of situation against other sort of these types of units with the you know, Furious Spearmen and the Harry Painted Warriors. This is where these guys really excel at just holding up large amounts of enemy units, just getting vast amounts of damage in, because they just cannot break him. I think the Harry Painted Warriors perhaps have finally given up trying to get involved with this fight because it's just not going anywhere. They just cannot get through this level of defence because it's just so strong. Hello, with Rudiger, I was just thinking why they didn't throw flames at him. And he finishes off the last of the enemy spearmen. And he's racked him up just over 4,000 aggression. Look at the absolute slaughter he has created in this middle here. All the people just trying to surround him and breaking on his defensive abilities. And that's kind of similar to how Sulla plays out, really. I think Sulla probably gives you a lot more flexibility because obviously you have that ability to deactivate and pull out. And you obviously get the whip for the movement speed as well. But he still seems to work pretty well with Scipio. Probably better than he is as a cavalry commander. So, what's it looking like? Looks like this team is now well on the way to winning. Still got these enemy elephants, which are going to be a bit of a pain for him. Some tier 6 African elephants. And those Harry Painted Warriors are kicking around with the cavalry. I've just spent a game fighting people with Oath of Perseverance. I'm struggling. So he's got these few units. The elephants have still got quite a bit of health. I think that's pretty much the main threat left. And some enemy light artillery over here. Being advanced upon by these guys. Who for some reason have got Testudo activated, thinking it's going to help them against light artillery, and it's really not. You're just slowing yourselves down. Oh, and he gets back in and has rear flanked these enemy war dogs. Oh, this is going to go straight away. Now, making use probably of his war cry, which he did. Obviously, it gives like that minus 25 morale, something like that. Makes it pretty easy to rout enemy units. Routed before they reach the archers. So we've got a handful of units left. He's moving as the units round. Yeah, really a quite strong game with these guys. I'm impressed how well Scipio has worked out with these. I didn't think it was going to make them quite so resistant. I think these are the heavier variant of Roman legionary, aren't they? The veteran legionaries. Yeah, I think so. What's their movement speed? 3.1. That is just chronically slow. Yeah, definitely probably the heavier variant. So these slingers are having a bit of a hard time again. Looks like against on these enemy elephants. But it's far enough in the lead you can probably afford to engage the elephants, although I'd be a bit hesitant probably to engage elephants with a Scipio because normally you need that vengeance to be able to apply sufficient damage to make it worthwhile. But he's in, getting a little bit of damage as the elephant goes past, but the elephant doesn't really care, just ignoring him. Obviously just wants to try and get in and amongst those archers. Oh, slingers, sorry. Ooh, another javelin float, another couple of thousand damage. And he's closing his units in on this bridge. Another javelin throw. Poor elephant's got so many javelins stuck in him. Okay, he's finally got engaged in one unit against these elephants. So bearing in mind he has nothing to boost his attacking capabilities. He's only a defensive commander, Scipio. Then he's actually doing pretty well, to be honest. He's doing very well, I would have said, in the amount of damage he's getting in. This slinger's getting a couple of shots in. And while he's taking probably proportionally more damage than the elephant is, actually applying a lot more damage than I thought he was going to be able to. No, he might actually even kill this elephant, which is kind of surprising. I thought it was going to be a case he was just going to get slaughtered. Those elephants are just determined to chase down those enemy slingers. But we've got more friendly Lesbos archers on the scene now. We're going to start to apply more and more damage. I think this is the beginning of the end. These elephants, it's 26,000. I'm very surprised. If it had vengeance, this would have just absolutely slaughtered this elephant. But it looks like this is the end, and there goes the elephant. Oh, down it goes. So a couple of elephants left to go, and this game is in the bag. Just getting in on the last one. Oh, those archers got caught up a little bit on the elephant. Let's break away. He's sending one of his units off to chase down them. Last couple of units. This is all these guys have got left. These two elephants. Oh, and a couple more Germanicus legionaries turn up. So yes, hopefully this has kind of highlighted how different Scipio can be as a commander choice. I think probably the strength of it is by being so different, people don't really know how to counter it. It's kind of get that when you occasionally get strange unit combinations like this. Obviously, it's fairly easy to counter a Scipio commander like this because as soon as he goes into Oath of Perseverance, he loses all pretense at movement speed. It's like a minus 80% movement speed modifier, and you know, it's extremely easy for you to disengage and just break away. Wait the around 10 seconds, and then like that you can just click on the unit and see when Oath of Perseverance goes off. And once it goes off, you can just re-engage, and that is his main ability finished. And then you're just fighting Roman infantry units that have no access to vengeance or anything like that. So really, quite easy to counter, but because it's something you don't really encounter very often, I think a lot of people don't know that, or don't know how to counter it, or just perhaps aren't expecting it, just assume it's a Germanicus. So yeah, I think that's kind of something to bear in mind. It's kind of a cool combination, but something that's certainly a little bit different, and that's something I kind of quite enjoyed watching, which is why it's sort of featured on the Battle of the Week this week. So, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. If you have, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Subscribe to the channel for lots more Total War Arena content. And thanks guys, I shall see you all on the next episode.